Is it somebody I don't my call? This is the moment you're meant to know.
Well, hello there, sunflowers, and how are you guys today? Well, I'm here to do a reading on Trey Songz because he just recently found himself in the news recently around his birthday. On top of that, so I'm not sure if he was just still high off his birthday or if he's just happy for the holiday seasons, or maybe the hookah lounge was too much hookahing and it hit him hard. So I'm not sure exactly what was going on that night. That when the hookah lounge slash bar was closing, he decided to throw a fit, I guess you could say is the best thing. You know, punch an employee, destroy property. Like Trey, all they did was probably ask you to leave, respect their hours. It's what? I mean, according to them, it was closing time. Now, if they were trying to like get you out because he was just rowdy. Well, anyway, Trey Songz just recently had a birthday on November 28th, and also on that same day or around that same time, he had like a versus battle with Neo on this podcast, New Girls Karaoke. Sorry, Girls Love Karaoke on there, and it was a few other celebs that were there, but he went toe to toe with Neo. Glad to know he's still around. Sup, Neo? So because of that, yeah, that happened around his birthday, and then on December 4th, he was at a nightclub. Then that happened, a nightclub hookah lounge, got rowdy, got arrested that night, and then he had his first trial date or hearing on the 14th, and he was set to be released on parole, or he was like, yeah, parole supervision. And because of that, he's now set free. He's allowed to travel. I think in 10 days, there was just like, you know what? I think you've learned your lesson. You have been rehabilitated a little bit. Maybe you're not going to do it again. I'm not sure if this is his first time ever going to jail. I'm not sure if this is his first run in with the law, or if this is not his first run in with the law, if this is his first time that he has gotten arrested or put behind bars because of something. So because of that, they just seem to let him off real easy on that one. And maybe hey, I'm not too familiar with Trey Songz, but the statement out there is that people are quite curious, quite done, and quite flabbergasted on how Trey Songz ended up in this kind of situation. They're just like, Brody, you is too young, too old, 41, to be doing this kind of mess of foolery. So because of that, yeah, he's getting some backlash from that. Is that going to tank his career some? We're not sure. That's what I'm going to pull some cards on. I'm curious. I'm pulling cards on why this happened, how this happened, and how he's feeling after it's happened. Because I'm like, Trey, was you even in your right frame of mind when that happened? I'm not sure if he's had a violent streak. I'm not sure if he's like little Tory Lanez out here. So I don't know. But the cards will tell me. Let's just find out. Clearly, he must not be like a Tory Lanez out here if he got out that easy. So. All right, first card. Okay, Five of Swords. It's very interesting. Let's just keep the norm. Let's see what's at the bottom. The Nine of Swords. In his past. Okay, the Two of Wands. I see some color. That's great. Above his head is the Son of Swords. Well, please tell me there's some color in the future. And then the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, I'm just going to pull some outside cards here because I'm actually quite curious what is happening with the lackluster of cards, color in these cards right now. And his past was the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Woo! Then the Nine of Pentacles and then the Judgment. Well, first and foremost, all I have to say is Trey Songz right now in this very moment is kind of like clear, not clear, gray skies. It's gray skies for him. Why do I say that? Because all I see here is cards in the past. Like, let's just look in the past. The first and only card that stands out with jumping out with colors, and it's the rainbow, is the Two of Swords. And that Two of Swords can symbolize this, because not Two of Swords, the Two of Wands. And wands can be used as a sort of weapon. But however, just besides that, usually it's supposed to be a symbolization of two people coming together in a unison. However, what we see here, that could have been in the past, and what happened, two people, Trey Songz and the employee and whatever nightclub this was, those were the two people that was in this situation. And like I said, the only colors I see, and out of all of these 9 cards that I pulled, is all right here during the incident when it all happened. So I see this is where all the energy is taken up, and you can honestly tell what color sticks out most to you. Like, if I could like block some of that, like what color stands out to you? Hopefully you said red, because that was the answer, because that's what stood out to me first. And red usually symbolizes passion, hot like the wands, but also can symbolize this destruction, and fiery, tempery, like hot, you never see it coming, and that kind of see like hot tempered and quick to react kind of energy. And that's exactly what I'm seeing here in the past when this incident first happened. And we see here, not only is the Two of Wands there, but it's in the middle of two swords. I mean, two aces. We have the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords. So right there, we could see some sort of harmony, because cups and air. Actually, no, I don't think cups and air go well with each other at all, actually, now that I just double checked on that in my brain. So because of that, they are at sort of a disodd with each other. And we could have seen that. So I'm not sure, honestly. Listen, I don't know what that employee did to get Trey Songz set off like that, but Trey, you probably need to get that a little bit under control better. Not that I'm like giving a lesson here, but but with the Ace of Cups, we see that he was maybe a little bit underneath the influence, a little bit intoxicated, emotions, and like they say, the emotions are like fluid, like water, was coursing through him. The emotions were raging, gushing, swooshing through, and because of that, it got the better of him, and it got over his lack of judgment, because the Ace of Cups crowned the Ace of Swords. So that means his heart got the best of his head. So because of that, like they say, he was thinking with his heart and not his head. So that's what led him there. He thought with his emotions and not with logic. And it led to a sort of a combative moment in the past. That's where we see all the energy, all the color. And now that that has happened and we're moving forward to the present, what I see here is a bunch of lackluster cards, no color. I'll save that one for last. Literally him, no color. Beneath of him, stressing the hell out, no color. His future, which is great. That's the third pentacle we have. I mean, the third ace that we have here. It's the Ace of Pentacles. And the earth is very bountiful and vibrant. However, this card is still lacking color. But right above that, we have another pentacle card, which is the Nine of Pentacles, still no color. And then underneath that, we have the Judgment card, still no color. So color represents energy too. So all that energy was in the past, and now we're moving towards the future to different days, and now it's kind of like reaping the repercussions of what happened in the past. And I'm going to say the best vibe that I can get from that is, honestly, as I said, his actions got the best of him, and he reacted before he could fully think out what he was doing, and that's what led him in this situation. Because we see exactly here right now in the present moment, he's the Five of Swords. He feels a sort of a separation, a sort of a a schism because he feels as though A, he was probably trying to defend himself. B, he wants to defend himself even more because the battle is not over, and maybe could have like that sort of sense of ego where you think this is over with. Well, it's not over with. Now that it's going to go to the courts, we're gonna have to do something about this. He's like, I'm not going down without a fight. He's like, I fought you then, I'll still fight you now. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting from him. However, the Son of Cups, if you could see it, that was the last card I didn't show you guys. Can you see some of the light trying to come up out of that cup? So we see that he's trying to see some bright. We see underneath him, we still have some simmering of emotions, like I said. And the cups still are over top of the sword. So those emotions are still raging within him. But they're not row right now. They're just row. So because of that, they're still inside of him, and he's trying to gain control of them because A, it's not going to help him, but B, also at the same time, it's just something in his life, honestly. Just looking at his foundation with this Nine of Swords, it's just something within him that's eating at him, bothering him, keeping him up at night, making him make reckless decisions with his life, making his life horrific in a sense because he just had a great birthday and then bam, you did this. It's like he was up and now you're down. It's just like, bro, come on now. So because of that, there's something within him internally that he's trying to work through. And it just happened to come out verbally. Maybe he was just caught on a bad night, and that's exactly why he went to that hookah lounge, because he needed some de-stress, and then got more stress than he needed while he was de-stressing, and because he was underneath the influence. Maybe he could have been doing both. He could have been underneath the hookah and the alcohol. So the double wobble. It was really a Maui Wowie then. It was like pow for him and his system, and that's exactly what happened. A brawl kind of ensued because of what was raging within inside of him. And that could be why he had lashed out. Now, not saying that's a reason to lash out because you're all depressed and angry inside. So go take it out on somebody, especially a random stranger. No, I'm not saying that, but that's just what got to it. Just kind of like reached so far above. It just, how they say you just go blind. You just blank out. Everything goes black. You don't remember. That's what I'm seeing when it comes to Tory Lanez in this situation. Not giving him any excuses to run with, but just looking at it in the different ways that this could have evolved for him. But we see here in the future, there is still some hope. There is still some hope, this Ace of Pentacles, that not all is lost. Maybe this is his first offense. If not, maybe this is the first time. Maybe this could have been an offense that wasn't severe. I mean, yeah, the guy has some swollenness, had to go to the hospital, but it's not like he knocked him upside the head with a bottle. Drake, I'm talking about you. Or fought somebody and threw a shoe at them. I was talking about you, Nicki Minaj. So it's not like he was doing anything to actually cause harm. But it could have been a little bit of disgruntled fighting because I don't want to leave. And you know what? He was probably trying to throw some money at them. Like, hey, stay open because I got the money and I can afford to keep it open. And if I want to keep it open for myself, why won't you guys allow me to do that? And they're just like, sorry. Maybe it could have been all those different things. You know how it gets sometimes when people start being, do you know who I am? I feel like that's where he got up in his head, up in the clouds and all of that. And it just took it a little bit too far for him. So because of that, looking at all of that, like I said, I'm not trying to find any excuses for his behavior, but just looking at all the acclamations to what could have led to this pop off, literally, because I tried looking up and I don't think he has literally had anything against him legal wise. I think he's hardly in the news for legal trouble to begin with. So because of that, it's just like, well, what happened? Why did we get here? How did we end up here? Especially when people are talking about your age, not trying to have any ageism here, but still, they're just like, you gotta be a little bit more mature, better, you got to gain control of yourself and your emotions. I get it's the rap industry, tough thugging, stuff like that. But, some people are just like, you just got to stop overperforming. And I think that's what maybe happened in that situation. Fame went to his head a little bit because stress was stressing him out. And like they say, money can buy you happiness. So because of that, that's what he was trying to probably do in that situation. You know, he's down in the dumps. What best to throw a little bit of cash somebody's way just to help yourself, you know. I mean, just like, could he have like not gone and gotten that from somebody else? I'm just saying. He definitely gotten that like medicinally in any of the states that make it legal. I'm just saying. Just saying. So let's just pull 3 cards to symbolize Trey Songz' outcome when it comes to this court case that he's gotten himself into. Because whatever it is, it's going to receive a judgment. Now, I don't think it's going to be a harsh judgment, but it's definitely going to be looked at with a fine tooth comb. And because it's going to be looked at with a fine tooth comb, therefore, this 9 of Pentacles symbolizes is it going to be enough, basically. That's the best sentiment I got. And just like the best what? Is it going to be the best team? Is it going to be the best evidence? Is it going to be his best self? Just is it going to be the best to get him out of this situation? Is it going to triumph over the judges, literally, and he's going to come out strong on top of this with a new beginning and still coming out strong and not having to spend time behind bars, possibly? Just looking at all the cards that seem to looking at the sequences, the top cards usually symbolizes the head, but also can symbolizes what's reigning high over the other things. And I'm seeing that all the heavy things like the Ace of Swords, the 9 of Swords, and the Judgment are all buried underneath cups and underneath water, which is actually kind of weird and backwards and upside down, because why is air trapped underneath earth and water when air is above earth and water? I'm just saying, if you just want to think about it, it's upside down. But stranger things in this in this reading. So we see the birds, we see the end of the line, and we see money. Oh, how funny. Oh, how funny. I was talking about money, honey. So what we see here is the birds, and the birds is going to be the court, and honestly just his lawyer team, just everybody around him is talking about him, talking about how they're going to get through this. What are they going to do? I mean, I know judges have other things to do, but they review these cases outside of it too, and this case is going to get reviewed again until February. So we got 2 months until Trey Songz has to be seen again with parole on top of that, with supervised parole. So it's not like he's like let out and yay, that's it. No, he still has to come back to it again. But at the same time, he's still under supervision. He has those birds that are going to be reporting back to let them know, is he doing good? Is he not doing good? So that way when he stands before the judge again, they are all going to have the information that they need to properly judge Tory. Because maybe that's what they need. They're just like, you know what? Let's just see. Is this a common thing, like they say in behavioral therapists? Is this your baseline? We got to figure it out. So because of that, we see the end of the line. Hopefully this could be like the end of him. Maybe that's something he needed to pop off with. And now that he finally popped it off, he got it out of his system, and that whatever was bothering him and holding him down, it's out of him. He's finally over it. And yeah, now that he still has to deal with these consequences of his behavior, it's out of him. And now he has to deal with it in the physical reality. So it's kind of like the end of the line. Once it's out of you, great. Once it's in your physical reality, it's tangible, but in your physical reality, you can choose to not interact with things. But when it's inside of you, you don't get a choice. So he finally was able to expel that energy outside of himself. And money. Like I said, money might talk. Money might do the work that he needs it to do. Like I said, he's Trey Songz. He's a rapper. He has clout in the industry. His money long. So because of that, why not throw some more bucks at it? Like I said, I think that's just what he does when he has a problem. And like they say, money can solve most of your problems until they don't solve your problems. So until that's what Trey Songz is banking on, that whatever he can do, as long as he shows that he is genuine with it, of course, because the court's going to believe that you are truly sincere about changing and that you won't do it again, and that you have gotten some, what is it, reform in prison. And now let's see what you've taken in prison, out of prison, into the streets, and are you going to fall back into those same traps? So he has to prove that in the course of 2 months. I get it why they said February. If it was going to be that parole kind of thing, we really should have did 3 months, but I digress. That is a bit too much. Like, that's a whole season. But that 2 months is almost an entire season, so it's close enough. The change should have just been marinating. We should start seeing changes within those 2 months. So because of that, it was nicely picked how far out the date that they gave. So because of that, it's money, it's fortunate. We'll see what that's going to do for him in his future. That's what I got from his reading. That when it comes to Tory Lanez in this incident, that yeah, what he did was really dumb and stupid, but he was just having a bad day. That's the sentiment that I'm getting. And not saying that's any excuse, but when you have a bad day, people get to understand just a little bit more that, oh, when you're having a bad day, just one little stressor can like really cause you to snap. It's like that movie that Taraji P. Henson played in. I forget the name, where she like snapped when her child died, and then turned out at the end she was doing all this, and she had like went not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She had just mentally lost sight of true reality and was still living the reality that she was used to. So she kind of like dissociated from real reality. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting here with Tory Lanez, where that was just that one kind of night where he just kind of like blanked out, tapped out of reality. And it's not something that he does, but it's something that he has to we all have those days. We're all human. We all have emotions. We all experience things. We can only all take but so much. But all at the same time, we have to find healthy coping mechanisms so we don't do things like this, like Tory Lanez is doing. So with that being said, hopefully the court is also hoping that the 10 days that he did spend in jail gave him some sort of reformation, that he has learned his lesson, and to learn the consequences of his actions. And now that he has this parole, that he can live up to those standards. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I sure did on Tory Lanez. It was actually really good. I was hoping, did I say Tory Lanez? Oh my God, I am so sorry. I hope you enjoyed this reading on Trey Songz. I don't know why Tory Lanez just wants to keep coming in. I've been saying that to Mama Crone, that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do a reading on Tory Lanez. She's like, I thought you was talking about Trey Songz. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I mean Trey Songz. So Tory, I don't know what's up with you. Get out of this. I even gave you like a subtle like comparison. So because of that, I don't know what's going on over there. Maybe I have to do a reading on Tory Lanez. A Freudian slip, right? So with that being said, what I see here for Tory Lanez, for Trey Songz, what I see here for Trey Songz is the fact that it was just one of those days. He was having a bad day, and he has learned from it, and he did gain some reform in prison, and we just have to wait and see how it's going to play out for him, and see how it's going to go for his next court date. Hopefully by then he's, like I said, the end of the line. Whatever it was in the past, his days can get brighter from here, because it's just kind of putting a damper, especially after his birthday too. Like, this is during his season, and this is what he has to deal with. They're saying it's Sagittarius season, and he just plopped down. But hey, you know what? Like I said, we all have those days. So for that, Tory Lanez, I hope you get better. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and spread those beautiful sunflower seeds all over the earth, because we need it. And so does Trey Songz. Trey Songz definitely needs those beautiful sunflower seeds energy to get towards him, so that way he can overcome whatever he's overcoming. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I sure did. Like I said, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, hype it up, just to get this message, energy, and vibe, positive energy out there to him. You just putting your energy into this video helps get that energy and sentiment out to him, and the more positive energy we can send his way, the more he can overcome this and the more positive energy that goes towards him during this time. So, with that being said, now I've said everything. Leave your comments down below. How did you enjoy this reading? And I will see you, sunflowers, in the next one. Sunflowers!